It's Midwest Ghost Hunters Dark Matter Podcast. We're here at Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri. John, you want to remind everybody the thing we always forget to remind everybody?
Not only do we want you to listen to the podcast, we want you to actually go on the platform you're listening on and comment, like, share. That makes a huge difference. Whatever platform you're listening on right now, please comment, like, share, and follow us.
Yeah, because everybody gets this urge to email us, comments about the podcast, and it would be just even more beneficial if you would just comment that same comment on whatever platform you're listening to. That would help a bunch. This is something at the beginning of this year, I didn't think we were at a position I wasn't sure we'd ever be in. Because like I was talking to you before we started, at one point several years ago when we switched our email, when we switched our website server and all this different stuff, I lost a bunch of contacts, a bunch of them. And one of them was from one of the most well-known investigations we've ever done in Willard, Missouri.
Yeah, our Willard House investigation.
That's what we call it, because I have to apologize. We couldn't even remember your name. So we just called it the Willard House. And whenever people, stop, whenever they see us, out in public or email or whatever, they always call it just the Willard House. But
it's our most asked about one.
It is by far. That's what I was telling you as we walked up the front steps, coming in today, is you've got a global following here on this case. Which you probably didn't even know all these years.
I had no idea. It's amazing.
It's been a while since we were there. And, we got Debbie. This is Debbie. And she was the owner of that home in Willard that we investigated many years ago. And it's important to point out, when we did this investigation, and we've said this on the podcast before, there's probably going to be some information here that you don't know. When we did that investigation, we were pretty new. We had a pretty good idea of what we were doing, but we were still pretty new. We were in that phase of taking pretty much any investigation people would contact us with, we would do it. And yours was one of them. And we came to your house a few times.
You did.
Because the first time we went out there, and this is another thing that we've talked about in the years since, when we first went out there, not much happened. How many times did we come out? Do you remember?
Three times.
I think three.
Three. And then the second time, we had a few things happen. And then on the third time, all hell broke loose. We kind of learned a lesson from your house, is if we go do an investigation and we don't get anything, we may have to come back. That's the lesson we took away from your house, because from the first visit to the third was vastly different. And I remember the morning after, during the last time we went to your house, I talked to John, and he's like, "Did you call him yet to tell him what we found?" I was like, "I don't know. What am I going to tell him? Move?"
Do you know how hard it is to go home after that?
Yes. Well, no, but I can only imagine.
At the time, I lived in a subdivision in Willard, and we sat in my drive in the subdivision over there. And I said,
right after.
Right.
Yeah.
We sat in the subdivision over there, and I said, I don't care if people don't believe the house is haunted. I don't care, because it is. It is very, very haunted. It has a lot of activity, and you will never be able to convince me that house is not 100% haunted, no matter what you do. And this was a lot of our deal was we would go out and we would try to prove that houses were not haunted. We look for things like wiring issues, reflections, squirrels maybe are in the attic or something that's causing scratching sounds. And a lot of that we can disprove. We left your house absolutely terrified.
Well, it was more than just, oh man, we hit a haunted house. This was more than just paranormal activity. And that's the reason why there's such a big following on your particular investigation, is because it's, to this day, we've been to lots of haunted places. I mean, hell, we're sitting in one right now. We've been to lots of homes that had paranormal activity. Yours is I think yours up to now is the only one we've ever been to where there was something there that wasn't just a ghost.
And it was something that mocked us while we left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even know if she knows everything. I don't even remember if whenever me and Dustin met up with you at the library, I don't remember if we told you everything.
We were leaving, and this deep voice laughs and says, "Where are you boys going?" I mean, this was after we had done the challenge to this entity, and this thing absolutely thoroughly enjoyed hammering us into the ground. It loved doing that.
And really what we're doing now is just trying to catch our listeners up on, we're going to get to, talking to you about what's happening now, and we can even talk about what happened then. But we did your Willard home, the third time we went there, it was pretty scary. We had a lot of stuff happen. And then you moved to Springfield. And we did that house, and we caught a lot of activity there. And then we kind of lost contact for a long time. And then you, out of the blue, contacted us back. I was like, oh, man, I didn't know if we'd ever, make contact again. As soon as I got your email, I sent it to everybody. And everybody's like, yes, because Tyler, who's in our group, and he was in our group then, wasn't able to come to any of your investigations, and he always wanted to go back. We can talk a little bit more about, our experiences then as we go along here. But
do you think that it would be a good idea just to let her start at the very beginning with her, the very first paranormal activity she ever experienced, whether it was in Willard, whether it was another location? How long have you had this? When did all this start? And then just kind of just walk us through that.
What made you call us the first time?
Directly from you.
Well, the first time, my daughter and I, my adult daughter, and I lived there with her granddaughter, and we kept seeing things like out of the corner of our eye, like glimpses of something, and we had no idea. So we didn't even know there were ghost investigators. We had no idea. So a friend of mine said that her coworker investigated haunted houses. And I said, well, how much do they charge first? So they came out first, didn't find anything at all. But we still kept having things, like really scary things, growling and seeing things and talking. And
this is at the house in Willard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the very first time you guys had experienced any paranormal activity. It was right there in that house.
It started in that house with the little visions or the little glimpses of something dark.
Right.
But I've had haunted before.
Okay, so when did that start?
When I was a kid, probably. My bedroom was haunted as a kid, and it's never been this bad, but you always look in the mirror, see things behind you, movement that you can't explain, and just things like that. I've always kind of been haunted.
Okay, so you've always experienced some form of paranormal activity.
Mm-hmm. But nothing like that Willard House. And then we started basically just trying to communicate with it to find out why it was scaring us so bad, because it was terrifying. And it started talking to the granddaughter. It would pull her aside to talk to her by herself or take things from her, interact with her. And that's when we called you guys, because we couldn't have that, couldn't be involved.
It was the closet, wasn't it?
It lived in her closet.
Because we had an interaction in that closet when we were there.
And it was bad.
We closed off that room.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
I know this sounds so stereotypical paranormal movie, but there was something living in that little girl's closet.
You can never tell your children there's nothing under your bed and nothing in your closet ever again.
It's the first time any of us, really to this day, had felt the atmospheric shift in a home. Because when we first came into your house, it was very nice, very clean. Dustin, I'll never forget, we were in the basement where there was a pool table and there was a couch or something. I remember Dustin stretching out on that couch and saying, I don't think there's anything happening here. It's so comfortable, I could just go to sleep here.
The thing I always kind of compare it to would be just that feeling you get when something's watching you.
Yes.
Humans have this, it's an evolutionary trait. It probably comes from one of our ancestors being stalked by a tiger in the jungle, where your hairs stand up and it's kind of like your fight or flight kicks in. Mm-hmm. That's what it was for me.
That's daily life for me. That's right. Every single day I have that.
I believe you.
When I talk about the one thing, there may be several things that I remember when me and Dustin met up with you at the library and we played, the evidence we caught. I don't know if we told you about all the personal experiences that we had. One of them that stuck with the three of us was when we went out on that wooden porch. Was it wooden? I think it was wooden.
Yeah.
We went out on that wooden porch. I don't remember what had happened right before that, but we went out on that wooden porch and we heard this sound come from inside the house.
Like a pterodactyl.
It sounded like a dinosaur.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know about that one.
I don't think I ever told you that.
Well, on the video that was inside, you could see something flying around in the room.
Yes.
And then when we went back in, every video camera in the house was turned off. The tripods were flipped over. It had shut it down.
We say it's a dinosaur because that's the closest thing we can compare it to. It's like this loud screeching.
Yeah. If we had been inside and heard it outside, it'd be like, damn, did you hear that owl or whatever that was? But we were outside. And we heard it inside.
Well, and
I'm glad I didn't know that.
We've lived in all three of us have lived in rural areas our most of our lives. We've heard owls and we've heard foxes and we've heard, I've heard a mountain lion and the sounds they make, but whatever this was not anything I've heard before. And it didn't come from outside.
No, it came from inside, which was the damnedest thing. I'll never forget us standing on the porch and looking at each other like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And then, I remember whenever we met you guys at the library and we were reviewing one of the videos, it was one of you guys who caught that the ceiling fan turned on at one point. Because we were showing you something completely separate in the video. And one of you mentioned, I think the ceiling fan just turned on. Mm-hmm. And, so we had all kinds of things like that. At the end of the night, we were scared.
We were terrified. Scared is underplaying where we were at.
But why?
Well, it was a culmination of things. And then, we had lots of experiences. It was the first time I've ever had something push up against me. It was like trying to push the door closed.
It ran up on me in the hallway. It ran directly. I mean, I'm talking about, it's hard to describe, but if you're in a tunnel somewhere and you see someone running directly towards you, except I couldn't see it. I could feel it, though. I could feel it running right up on me, and then it gets right up and goes directly into my ear. And that's like, you know what? Bye-bye.
So it was all these experiences we had and some of the things we heard, but really, more than anything, what really scared us the most was something that we didn't capture on audio or video. It was when we finally decided we were going to get the hell out and we were getting ready to leave. And we heard this sound coming down the hallway as we were collecting our stuff quickly because we were ready to go, honestly. We heard this sound coming down the hallway that just sounded like, I don't even know how to describe it other than chaos. You know how when you open your cabinet that all the pans are in, they all fall out?
I've heard that.
It sounded like that, except it was getting closer to us. Me and Dustin looked at each other like, what the hell, and we just left.
And the thing saying, where are you boys going?
At about that time. And we actually at that point hadn't collected everything yet, but we sat out in one of the cars. I don't even remember.
We sat out in front of my car, and I just seriously debated, you know what? They can just have everything.
Yeah, we talked about just leaving our stuff in there. We really did. Not joking at all.
I would have brought it to you. I had to go back.
To this day, we have never had anything as intense as that particular night. Even when we went to your Springfield house, it wasn't as intense. And I think part of the problem, looking back, was that we had done a direct challenge to this thing. I really think that that's part of it. Or maybe not.
I don't know what it was that necessarily caused that house to. Yeah, well, and then we haven't even, our listeners know that the house burned. Mm-hmm. It burned down,
I mean, when we were leaving, it sounded like chaos. It sounded like the house was falling in on itself.
Yeah.
The best thing I can describe it was what you said. Like imagining every kitchen cabinet opening and everything in it being thrown to the ground.
Is that house, because I know that you lived in several, is that house where the most paranormal activity occurred, or did it just continue to ramp up, or what? Because you've talked about moving around to different places. Mm-hmm. Was the house in Willard more active than others, or?
It was probably the most. And you mentioned that bird. I didn't know that before.
That screeching sound?
Yeah, screeching. Mm-hmm. In the basement, there's a crawl space in a storage room. And when we moved in there was nothing on the wall of the basement of that big crawl space that was open to.
I remember that, yeah.
And then there were three-toed footprints on that wall, like bird footprints. I had no idea that. I couldn't get them off. I tried to clean them off. They wouldn't clean.
Did you see John's face?
They were literally on the wall, like embedded in it.
I remember the space you're talking about near the stairs, or
it was in the back room, behind in the storage room,
like dents or scratches.
They stood out. They didn't go into the concrete. They stood out of the concrete. But it was not concrete. It was something that I couldn't get off.
Well, that's not good.
Nope.
When we went over, to kind of give you an idea, the first time we went to your house, there was nothing there. And then Chris called the second time, said, hey, she really wants us to come back. And I said, okay.
We were terrified.
You know, we went back, and then the third time when we went back, I told Chris, I said, look, there's nothing there. I'm telling you right now, there's nothing there. We've been there. I said, but what we're going to do, we're going to search that house top to bottom, and we're going to go out, and we're going to look all around the perimeter. I said, because what is going on is there's some high school kids that are over here doing this, because I'm just telling you right now, that's what this is. So we searched that house from top to bottom. We went out, we searched around the perimeter of the house. We made sure there was no animals. There was nothing anywhere, because I was convinced that you had some people playing a prank on you. That's what it was. And no, you did not.
I did not.
You know, the stuff we've talked about so far is in addition to all the other things, like, because it's a culmination of things. It's not just those things. Like we caught whispers, we caught voices, we smelled smoke at one point. Did we not?
Yeah.
Like the distinct smell of like smoke.
I still smell that.
Which is, you know, considering what eventually happened to the place.
I still smell that now, and I leave every day with important papers because I never know if it's going to happen again.
Did the fire department or the fire marshal do an investigation, say this is why would this happen?
They said lightning strike of the fuse box. It was a bad lightning storm that night, really bad, but they said that was lightning that hit the fuse box, which was kind of in the basement. It followed the wires down and burst into flames. So, but I'm terrified we're going to do it again. I live in a pretty new house now, though. So,
what other activity that we have not covered did you experience there in Willard and then in Springfield? Because you've had this your whole life. Can you talk about, what all things have you seen? Have you heard? Because you've just got to be like a Library of Congress of this sort of stuff.
I don't actually believe a lot of the things. I have to like debunk it for myself.
No, that's great. That's great.
I think, well, did I really see that? Or did I really hear that? But just recently, like last Sunday, my granddaughter and I were in the kitchen alone, and we heard this growl laugh, like right next to us. And she said, she's 9. She goes, "Did you hear that?" I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, I'm going to go play in here. She took off running. It's just still there. Another really funny thing that I thought at the house that across town that you guys were at in Springfield, I lived there alone at one point. My daughter and granddaughter moved out, and I lived there all alone, which is terrifying for me. And I had a toy, one of her toys that she'd left, it kept going off in a room by itself, right? And it kept saying, "Peekaboo, I see you." So I went and found a toy that was making the noise, and I played it through to find the little thing that says, "Peekaboo, I see you." It never did. So I went back and sat down to watch television in a different room, and I could hear it again. "Peekaboo, I see you." I said, "Okay, forget it. I'm out." I went out and sat out in the garage and drank a beer, whatever.
I would have drank a lot of beers.
On my way out the door, though, I heard this thing say, "Bye-bye." I was like, okay.
Now, we actually, when we were in your Springfield house, I was looking through. I don't know if you've been to our website lately. We've got everything on there.
You're kind of our star.
Well.
That's really what kind of, started the people having a lot of interest, in this particular case. But I have that EVP of when we took a break outside in the Springfield house that you moved to. When we took a break outside, we caught, here, let me just play it. And I'm pretty sure when we played this for you, you said, "Yep, that's the toy."
What was that? What was that? I don't know. The click? I think it was just settling that. Oh, okay. That's weird. Yep. I like that. The houses have weird views.
That's the toy.
That was the one that's the toy that decided to chime in when we stepped out.
Yeah, that's the toy.
And didn't we go through and find one of those toys that was chattering it up and had no batteries?
Oh, yeah. We take the batteries out of the toys all the time, and they still work.
I thought it was that one.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
I was thinking it was that one.
Didn't we take its batteries out and it's still functioning?
I was thinking we checked and they were already out. I don't think we took them out.
Right, but it didn't have batteries in it.
That's what I was thinking. I can't specifically remember, but for whatever reason, that is stuck in my head too. That either we'd taken them out or they were already out or something. But yeah, that was the same toy that you were talking about. One of the weirdest things that we caught in Willard at the house there was the sound of we say an ice cream truck is what we say. But it almost sounded like a baby mobile. Do you remember that when we played that?
We're getting a sound that we shouldn't be getting is the main thing. And it was just all these weird, bizarre things like that I never could explain. I have no idea why. Did the houses, while he's pulling that up, that you went to, did you have the same sort of sounds that followed you there, or were they different sounds?
No, they're the same. They, like, things go off all the time. The walls pop. That's an ongoing sound that we hear all the time. The walls actually pop like something's breaking in the wall.
I remember also you talking about in Springfield. Well, first of all, one of the things that stands out was when we came to investigate the house in Springfield several years ago. Right before we got there, you had scratches up here on your arms. Has that kind of stuff happened again?
Yep, I still get scratches. I get scratches, but they go away pretty quickly.
Do you feel them when they happen, or do you just notice them later? And
I don't always feel it when it happens, but it burns really bad. But it goes away. It heals quickly. My granddaughter got a scratch on her back, and I took a picture of it, but within 10 minutes, it was completely gone.
What all things have you seen in your house that you're in now, or since the will? Have you actually seen something like you and I are looking at each other right now? Have you seen something that's that clear? Have you seen anything dart into halls, shadows, anything like that?
All the time. I see darts of everything, like movement. We hear things all the time. I mean, I see dark figures. I never see a person.
So it's always kind of a dark form of shadow figure type thing is what you will see.
Shadow figure. It uses things like, for instance, my granddaughter had a balloon that she brought home from school on a stick. It didn't have helium, but it was on a stick. And that balloon, actually, I put her to bed, went back to the living room, and the balloon started moving down the hall. And so I went and I looked for, like airflow, if the furnace was on, whatever. And that was about a year ago. And so it just kept moving. So I went and took it and I put it in a different room somewhere. Well, that balloon stayed aired up for like a year. It just now went down, but it would turn. Like I put it in a key holder in the laundry room. And sometimes you'd go through there and that balloon would be looking this way or it'd be looking this way, but it moved.
Like just a Mylar type balloon?
Yep. Stayed aired for like a year. It just went down just now.
You had mentioned before that you had tried communicating with, which is something that we in general don't recommend people to do. But did you ever get any information? Did it ever communicate back? Did it ever give you anything as far as my name is this, I want this? Anything, any indication as to what the entity was or any information from it?
No, the only thing it ever actually said was get out, pretty much. Just get out.
We caught, I think that was the first time we were ever told to go home, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In Willard. Do you remember any of these that we played, whenever we did your Willard House, that third time? I'm pretty sure we played everything, but I just can't specifically, remember.
The thing, since your investigation, we have done investigations where we've caught a lot more evidence than we caught that night. Now, part of that is that we have grown as an investigation team. Our audio capturing abilities have exploded since then. So part of it was we've just gotten better at catching things. But regardless of the volume of it, I've never felt anything like I felt in your house in Willard on that third time. I mean, it was, for lack of a better word, demonic, evil. I mean, it was a very dark, oppressing feel. Does it feel like that all the time, or does that turn on and turn off for you as well?
It turns on and off all the time. I just felt it just the other day, though. I was home alone and I left and sat in the car, and that doesn't always help. It's actually gotten in my car with me, which sounds ridiculous, but
no, I don't think anything's ridiculous at this point. I really don't.
I knew when it got in the car, it was going with me.
I know that we tried to get some religious help for you, and you probably have had that before. Have you had any of that have any impact on that whatsoever?
Sometimes praying helps a lot. It helps get me through the night sometimes.
Okay.
That priest that we had come out to bless the house actually left in a hurry as well.
I remember him, giving us a report afterwards of kind of, yes.
Yeah, he left his things there too. And I offered to take them to him, but he said he didn't want them.
It's not funny at all.
No, not at all.
No, it's kind of bad when the when the holy guy
just keep the holy water. I don't need it.
That's what he said.
He just rolls out of there. That we've just never had anything like your case.
Well, it's like John said, we've done investigations where we've caught more EVPs. Like the Ashley's house in Springfield. We caught like 4 growls in one night. We even heard them, but we didn't feel like we needed to leave.
Right. Ashley's growls were not bad, but and I don't know, it's so hard to explain, but the growls at Ashley's house, even though, and Ashley is a lady, we always kind of refer to her house as the Halloween house, because you could go there right now and the house is full of paranormal activity, but it's not the menacing paranormal activity that we had from yours. And the growl we caught in your basement, I don't know, it just feels a lot, I don't want to use the word meaner, but that's kind of the way I think about that.
Yeah, it was, I mean, we've talked about this before. We've wondered, was it so scary just because we were fairly new at this? We've decided that's not the case.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah. It was very scary. And what contributed most wasn't necessarily that we caught a growl or that we heard a damn pterodactyl or whatever. It was the feeling of the house laid over that. Because when we came back inside at one point, I remember us all commenting on how it felt different. It was that overall feeling that I've heard people talk about. This sounds like bullshit.
The
but
best
it
way,
isn't.
if you have never experienced it, the best way I can describe it is like going from outdoors in the summer in a nice warm area to having a tornado coming over and you're running as fast as you can down into your grandmother's cellar, and you get into the to that damp, heavy feel that the cellar has got that others would not have.
Like something bad's gonna happen.
Yes,
that's the feel.
Yes. You get imminent danger kind of thing going on.
And we've had investigations before where one of us will be like, man, it just feels weird over here. But the rest of us are cool. In this particular case, we all felt weird.
At the same time.
Yeah.
At the same time without even saying it. And there was bizarre things that happened at your house that have never happened ever. iPhones, when the first time we went through.
I forgot about that. I don't even think I told her about that.
iPhones were fairly new. I mean, they weren't brand new, but that was a fairly new technology. And my locked iPhone called Chris's locked iPhone.
My phone is in my back pocket, and it was ringing. Is that it?
Yes.
Right? And I said, you're calling me.
And I said, no, I'm not. And the thing is, people say, well, yeah, you butt dialed him. I couldn't, because at the time I had this enormous belt clip that I had that my iPhone was I looked like a sheriff walking down with a gun at the side here.
I forgot about the belt.
So there's no way it could have.
Yeah.
It couldn't have butt dialed him.
But it was something weird on top of that where like your phone didn't even show like an outgoing call.
Right. I punched mine up and my phone was not calling him, but it was just showing on his that it was. That was just weird things that happened in that house.
Well, and my battery on my phone goes down all the time for no reason. I'll take it off the charger and it'll be almost gone sometimes.
We could not keep anything charged at all in that house.
And I just remembered, it's interesting talking about batteries and all that. At your Springfield house, when we were investigating the bedrooms, remember when we came back out and all our batteries have been dumped out on the floor?
Yeah, everything was just dumped.
Didn't they stack them and like line them up?
They were in some kind of formation like that, yeah. So it wasn't just the Willard house that had, the odd occurrences. It was, your Springfield one too back then. And then you moved to Joplin at one point, is that?
No, my daughter moved to Joplin.
Your daughter moved, okay.
Yeah, I live on the west side of town, but...
Okay, so how long have you been in the house that you're in now?
About 12 years.
Oh, you've been in there. Okay. See, we lost contact. We lost contact with him. We've just completely, we haven't known what's happened. And we're going to, come investigate your current house. So we were just kind of wanting to really get an idea what the hell is going to be happening.
Yours is also the situation. Normally when we do these investigations, we like to have people gone. And not there. You're a unique case. And we want to see with you there what sort of stuff that we can catch, what sort of things that we can get. Have you seen, has the activity always been there since you've moved in? And is it constant or does it go up and then down, up and then down?
It's always been there. It's always, but it does go up and down. And sometimes, like the creepy things move, whatever. It isn't terrible, but we're getting that creepy feeling back again, and where I don't want to be there alone at all. But like it's touching us, all of us, like a weird touch. I can't explain it. It's like a vibrating touch, like it attaches itself to a part of your body and like moves. It did the bed, remember? Mm-hmm. But it's doing that on us now. Like I don't mind it. It moves the bed. That's an ongoing thing. It has been for years, but now it's like attaching to a foot or a hand, and it's super cold and it moves.
That's going to be an interesting evening for us.
Yeah, no, this is definitely.
Well, this kind of activity, morphs and changes over time. Mm-hmm. Ramps up or goes dormant for a while.
But the thing I told Chris, I said, though, but keep in mind that we could go out there and this is a night that it just nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And it does not mean that it's not there because I've experienced your house before, and they are very active at times. So
yeah, we mainly want, because we're looking forward to the investigation. We're cautiously optimistic. We're and this is something we talked about not too long ago. One of the things we talked about was your house is the most scared we've ever been during an investigation. We were also pretty new, and we actually threw out the scenario of, if that same thing happened now, would we exit as rapidly as we did then? And we think the answer is yes.
I think so, because sometimes you just can't stay.
But I think we're going to find out.
Well, but I think, though, that I do think that we'll be able to get a lot better stuff. We know what we're dealing with. We'll go in recording the entire time. This also would be a very different investigation. Obviously, if there's ways we can debunk stuff, we will still debunk everything we possibly can.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But because of the history that we've had with your other homes and everything else, we'll be on red alert going in. That's because normally what we would do is a lot of times we'll go to a house or whatever, and Chris and I will even have a conversation beforehand and say, all right, well, here's what I think this is, but we don't know, we never know. Mm-hmm. And then we do our best to debunk, and we'll still debunk everything we possibly can at your house, but yours is a special case because of the intensity of it. I don't think I've ever seen one as intense as this.
No. Well, no, we haven't seen one as intense. Like you said, we've had investigations where we've caught a lot of stuff.
Right.
But it didn't feel the same. And we've actually commented on that before.
Right.
Ashley's house is just like a zoo of EVPs.
Yes.
But we never leave, we kind of just go along with it. And in this particular case, we just couldn't bring ourselves to stay any longer because we didn't, what was going to happen next didn't feel like it was going to be good.
Well, but this is the only house too where I ever remember something mocking me. I have never seen that happen. We've had other places of leave here, go home. We've had that before. We have had that before. But I've never, when we're leaving, had something actually mock us.
I remember in your Springfield house, you talked about the heavy footsteps that sounded like your son.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it did. It would mimic.
That's what the doppelganger thing.
Yeah.
It tries to sound like somebody else.
And the voices too. We'd hear voices, and it would sound like someone that wasn't there, that couldn't have been there. It would.
This is why Edwin Becker always said that you never trust entities, because sometimes that they can say, that how do you know if it says that it's this or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
Because of the whole doppelganger thing.
Right.
It's funny because we've caught a lot of stuff over the years at a lot of places. Voices, like he said, telling us to get out and leave, and still the creepiest EVP we've ever caught, I think, for me, was that closet.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you can hear us. It's just everything that happens in that clip. The door gets pushed against Chris and forcefully opened, and then we leave, and you hear us leave, and you hear the alarm system of the front door beep when we're outside the house. And then it's just something very atmospheric and creepy about the sound of the closet door slowly closing.
Do you remember that EVP? I've got them all pulled up here is why I ask. I could play any of these, that we wanted to.
And for whatever reason, that one is scarier to me than the stuff we've caught of voices telling us to get out and things like that. I don't know why it's scarier, but it is.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and play the EVP.
I'll refresh your memory on that one. We'll just go ahead and play a couple of these. Here's that one that Dustin's talking about.
The door here. Come on. What is it? Come on. The door just closed. What door?
What you hear there is us leave. You hear the security, saying that we went out the door. Then you hear that sliding closet door close.
This is the same closet that you had mentioned before.
That was the granddaughter's room that we were in at that point. That whole sequence is just so freaky. After we leave, that door that we've been sitting there, shouting EVP questions into, slides closed.
Forcefully.
Yeah, on its own.
You can hear it.
Something slides it.
Yeah.
This is not something that it could have just had. It just said, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and slide on my own. I mean, something had to pull it.
We did check afterward. Could this closet slide on its own? It can't.
Yeah.
It was a folding slide. It's a folding door.
Yeah,
that was right. It opened up and folded. Yeah, I forgot. And this is what happened right before that John was talking about earlier.
Are you in here? What's wrong? Did you hear the step?
Right over my shoulder.
What was it? Breathe?
Breathe, right in my ear, Chris. I can't breathe, Chris.
Here, turn your light off.
I mean in my ear.
So that's what John was talking about earlier.
Did you just hear that?
So
at the end,
at the very end there.
Go ahead and play that again, because I don't think I've ever.
I heard a couple things in there.
Heard that before,
and I wasn't sure if it was out here or if it was in there.
Do it again.
Yeah, I can't breathe, Chris.
Here, turn your light off.
I mean in my ear.
I've never
heard that until today.
How? We've listened to this
It sounds
clip.
like a dog.
It does sound like a dog.
That's a growl of some kind.
Okay, so
Well, that's not good.
not uncommon for us to listen to some of these older ones and to hear things that we didn't hear the first time through. So yeah, that's
Or the 500th time through.
we've played that how many times on this podcast? Good Lord.
Have we never mentioned that at the end before?
Not that I recall. I mean, there may be someone out there listening who's like, yeah, you did on episode, 57 at 26 minutes in, but not that I recall. I was wanting to play the Go Home, and I know you probably remember these. If you don't, I can send you the link to this page of the website, but we've got them all on here, and I can look at the website metrics and tell where people are clicking the most, and this investigation has the most, by far, clicks of any of them.
And that's interesting, too, because if you look at other investigations we've done, like he's talked about Ashley's house. I mean, Ashley's house here in Springfield has, 500,000 EVPs, it feels like. I mean, there's so many things, and there's so many. It's just bizarre. It's weird. You'll have everything under the sun, but yours is different.
Did you ever think that you would have people in like Germany and across the world listening to sound clips of your house?
Never.
I mean, it's almost something like that they would write a book about this. This sort of a situation is something that you really do. I think. You don't have some of the wildness of the Amityville, but you really do have something that you would write a book about. You would do a movie about. It's on that caliber.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Amityville was made for TV. Really, I mean, a lot of the activity they had there wasn't as.
But I think the basic story was the seed for that.
Right. I'm saying her activity was probably on par with that activity.
Yeah.
They just, dramatized it for the movies and TV. People can tell whenever we play these things and the way we talk about it. That investigation was just different. It was different from all the others we do. That's why I say we're cautiously optimistic about, investigating your new place. We kind of want to know what's going to be happening in there. Get some idea of what we're going to be getting into before we even get in there. I did find that one I was going to play. Since you're here, and I am going to send you the link so you may not even want to hear these. Hell, I don't know.
I hear them all the time.
But I'm going to play this one more. This was the first time we were ever told to go home. This is the EVP that I was talking about. The first time we were told to go home, and this recorder, that's what I was going to say, was up on the fireplace mantle. Pretty quiet there, but did you hear it?
Did you hear it?
I heard it.
And then there was like some kind of printer or some kind of weird noise. Here, let me, because I forgot about the noise. Let me play the whole thing. Here we go.
I almost think I need to give a revised thing. We talked about that being a printer before. You know what else that could be?
I have no idea.
That could be the sound of a claw scratching on something.
Could be, yeah.
That really could be.
I mean, it's a really weird sound because printers don't make that sound.
Not anymore. I mean, back when they had the little
dot matrix.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a printer make that sound. Like
it's like
I work with printers, and I've never heard it make that sound.
Did you mentioned that you had heard things like go home and things leave here and things like that. Did you hear them with your ears, with a recording? How did you hear those?
I didn't record anything, so I heard it with my ears.
Okay.
We've heard it a lot.
What does it usually say?
All kinds of things like, what are you doing? And
which is the same thing that it.
I mean, just.
And I will say that when we were leaving, the where are you going? Where are you boys going? That sort of a thing.
I hear a lot of growling. Not right now, but
almost
every day at home, I hear growling. And at work, which I shouldn't even say, but.
So you hear it at work too?
I hear a lot of things at work.
Huh.
Now that was happening. Am I confusing people? No. Was that happening when you were in Willard or Springfield too?
Yeah, it happened. It's been happening a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
And the strangest thing I think that gets me, I mean, that sounds really minor, but the trash can will move. Like anything that you put in the trash, 5 minutes later, it just it moves again.
Like the whole trash can?
Well, no, that's whatever you put in.
Oh, I see.
It's like, not that it's settling, but it sucks it in.
Do you have any item... And this is, I'm going to reach here and do something we don't really do. But do you have any item that you've always had your whole life, that like a necklace or something your grandmother gave you as a little girl or something that has been with you the whole time? Is there any item like that in your life?
No, I don't have anything. Things that I had as a young person, I don't have any of those things anymore.
Okay.
So nothing.
Is there anything that you've noticed that caused the activity to ramp up? Is there anything that you've noticed that causes any sort of a ramp up in this at all, or is it totally purely random?
I think in the Willard House when it really started was a movie. My daughter and I were watching a movie, a scary movie, Paranormal Activity, around Halloween. And at the same time in the movie, it felt like an electrical shock went through both of us. Like just went into our chest, down through our fingers, out our spine. It happened at the same time, and that's when it really got bad.
Do you live alone? I can't remember what you said. I'm sorry.
I don't. I live with someone. I would live with Mark, and I live with my granddaughter. It's 8.
Have they experienced this as well?
Yes, everything.
Mark has too?
Yes.
What stuff has been pretty much on par with what you've experienced?
He hears a lot of noises. For sure, and it touches him too. He didn't when I met him. He didn't, but that's been about 12 years ago, so he didn't believe any of that really.
Yeah, that can change pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
In fact, he made fun of it and put like a little plastic voodoo doll in the kitchen above the counter, above the cabinets, to say, well, now it can't come in because, I have this voodoo doll thing. Well, that didn't last very long. It makes fun of the voodoo doll. It will lay it down. It will turn it around.
Does it seem like multiple presences or just one?
I really think there's multiple. I really think that there's something very evil that stays with me. And then I think that there are other things, like maybe just ghosts, because there's so many things that happen.
Do you think that there's an area of your house that there's more activity in than others, or is it just all over and completely random?
It's pretty random, really. My granddaughter's room, she won't stay in it, but...
Why does it always have to be the kids?
I know, always
every time.
It's under the bed or in the closet.
So you've probably heard people talk about in the past, since you said, you've always had paranormal, experiences your whole life. You probably heard people in the past talk about, what you have in your house. Maybe your normal, paranormal stuff that's been following you around, but maybe that opened, a gate to something bigger. Dustin loves when we talk about gates and...
That thing coming out of the basement, that's what I'm thinking.
You know what? Normally I'm right there with Dustin, but on this other side of the coin, in your case, I'm going to make an exception and say that there's something there. I don't know what it would be, but there's something.
I was just trying to think, because in the Willard House we caught, we did get the go home here doesn't sound like the growl, So it seems like there's other stuff happening around the bigger thing, and it's not our job to go try to figure out, why.
Here's my own personal opinion whenever it comes to paranormal activity. I think that people are automatically born. I think paranormal paranormal activity is kind of like cancer or like any other disease. I think everyone is born with the possibility to get that. But I think other people are more susceptible to it than others. And things can happen just like a disease, like a cancer or anything else. You know, that some people can be exposed to this sort of a chemical and nothing happens. Other people are exposed to the chemical, and all sorts of cancers and everything else are very, very possible for them. And I think paranormal activity is a lot like that. Some people are more, I don't want to say gifted or cursed or anything, but I think they already have more of a disposition to come into it. And then if something happens in their life, it can, I don't want to say open a gate. I don't want to go there, but I think that it can enhance that.
Neurologically speaking, there are people who use different areas of the brain more or less than other people. And one of the theories is that, people who experience, lots of paranormal activity aren't necessarily drawing it. They're just able to see stuff that everybody experiences but can't. I have no idea.
But I've always thought that there's certain people there that are just more susceptible to it than others.
And obviously, if you've had this your whole life, you're one of them.
I'm sure I'll be bringing something home with me today.
From here?
I'm certain of it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Wow.
Well, when we come investigate, we'll have to bring it back.
Yeah, because we can't be missing a ghost out of here. I mean, because they have the ghost tours and everything else.
This place has a lot of paranormal activity, but luckily it's all very benign.
Yeah, we really have never had anything that we would consider evil here. I mean, there are certain people, if you watch some of the ghost TV shows and everything else, they'll be like, we are at one of the most evil places in America. On the steps.
Zach Baggins got possessed right in there.
Right out there in the lobby.
Yeah. Of Pythian Castle as we are wrestling the demons to the ground. No, none of that's true. None of that is
We're here
true.
every week.
I say possessed in jest.
Yeah, quote unquote.
So
he was flailing around.
If something does ride home with you, it's pretty tame from here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to plan on coming out to your house in Springfield and doing an investigation there and see what we get. Now, based on our past, it may take a couple of trips.
Right.
May not. Hell, I don't know.
I don't know, but it could be two or three. It really could. I mean, it's a situation, and we've already talked about it.
Maybe it'll remember us.
We could, or it may.
You'll have to wear your tan coat.
I've still got that. I still got it.
The swishy one?
Yeah, I still got it.
See, that's another thing that if we caught it on EVP, I've lost it because our process
That was the
sucked.
most bizarre EVP we ever had.
Because we did get an EVP that commented on John's coat.
Yeah, because I didn't take my jacket off because I thought that why didn't because
You
we
didn't
weren't
take
really
your-
afraid though. I
don't know.
cold?
You just kept it on. It was cold
down there.
We were out there in like January, February.
Yeah, it was cold, and so I still had my jacket on, and we were in the basement, and it said, "Why is he wearing a coat?"
Or something about the one with the coat.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Something referenced. It was the first time I'd ever been referenced. Ever. It was bizarre.
So you're willing to hang behind while we do the investigation just to see if we can?
Yeah.
Do you remember the sound? Like when we were all
swishing?
when we were all
Of
getting
course
out of there
I
real
remember.
quick, and one of the things I remember was John was
His coat.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm not ashamed to admit it all. I was in full retreat.
After we left your house, we went over to John's house. I don't remember why, but we did. We were
because we needed
We were terrified.
we needed a debrief.
And I told the guys at that time, I said, I don't need to listen to any evidence. I don't need to review anything. That house is haunted.
Well, we were also very disappointed in ourselves that we didn't catch what happened at the end.
I know, because we didn't have anything running. We had taken it all down.
We were running.
Well, we didn't have any. Yeah, we didn't have any devices recording when the biggest thing happened. We had nothing to prove.
And
it.
that will not be the case this time.
Right, because we've got way more stuff.
Plus,
time.
I'll have I'm not gonna shut my recorder off till I get in the car.
Yeah, and this is the investigation, by the way, that Dustin has said multiple times was the one that you had to leave your lamp on.
Yeah, when I got home.
When he got home.
Because I lived alone.
Because he was freaked. He was freaked out. Anyway, so we're going to set up a date to get out to your I want to say new house, but hell, you've been there for a dozen years.
Current house.
Yeah, your current house, and get out there and see what we can get, and hopefully not rattle things up.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that.
Never make that promise fully, but hopefully, we can keep from shaking the jar of wasps when we get there. But yeah, if you'll stay behind while we investigate, I don't know. I've got high hopes we're going to catch.
I think we could. I think the odds are high that we will get something, but it's also possible, like I said, we went in there 3 times before. So that is always a possibility.
And we almost didn't come back that third time.
Right.
Not because we didn't believe you, just because we've been there twice and we hadn't really caught anything.
Right. That was the most we've ever been to a location. And third time was the charm.
Yep. So we'll keep that in mind, whenever we come out this time and do the investigation. Anything else you wanted to hit on that's going on, or anything in the past before we wrap it up?
Not that I can think of. I know that it listens to us. So when we talk about it, it already knows. It already knows that
we're planning this.
Yeah, it knows. It listens to everything we talk about.
Well, I guess we'll see.
That's kind of unnerving.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I felt a little weird when she said that.
Tell it not to listen to our podcast. 'Cause
if it does, like and comment at least. Okay, well, Debbie, thank you for coming in, and we're so glad you made contact again, because it was my fault that I lost all your contact information.
What caused you to reach out to Chris again? Just because the activity was...
Yeah, the creepy feeling.
Okay.
I have to I work, and sometimes I don't get a lot of sleep because of everything. And I thought, well, there's got to be something that we can do to be able to function, because it's been going on for years, but it's getting bad again. And
okay, I
remember the last time I talked to you about coming out years ago, like 12 years ago, you said you're just freaking haunted. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's what we're living with.
That tracks.
I guess I am.
Well, we'll make it up there, and I don't know. I know a lot of people, that listen to this podcast and that frequent our website are anxious to see, what happens.
Well, and we can't solve, but one of the things we do is give people peace of mind that
we're not crazy.
Yes. That's it. Yeah. That what you're seeing and hearing,
our main function really
is actually happening.
Yeah.
And so we can catch some evidence for you, even though I'm pretty sure everyone at this table knows that what she's experiencing is real.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Absolutely it is.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll set up a date and get out there and do it.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming in. I'm glad we got your I won't lose it again.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
And we'll have more Dark Matter next week from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri with Midwest Ghost Hunters.